This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic!
What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is March 3rd, 2025. The season is over. Jonathan Osborne, as always, joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin Tucker, the season is over. What's going on, man? How are you? Did I mention the season's over?
I'm just in a state of shock. I am and I'm not, right? Like, this hasn't been like a catastrophic, like really fast, I'll just get really grim, right? It's not like this is like a bullet train in Japan that goes, 200 miles an hour and all of a sudden had a really serious accident. This has been like a slow moving freight train over the last 2 months that we've seen this coming. We've hoped that it would, wouldn't derail, but it's officially derailed. It's gone off the tracks and it's over. Yeah, it sucks. What's hard is mathematically it's not over. Mathematically, more than likely this team is going to play some postseason basketball in the play-in. That's the part that's hard to wrap my mind around. Trying to get excited for that.
Really.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, again, they've got 20 games to maybe figure a little bit of something out to try and win the play-in, but right now I wouldn't pick them to beat Miami or to beat I don't even remember who else was down. Atlanta. Maybe even, I don't even know about Chicago anymore. So, yeah, this is a very strange place to be as a Magic fan, and certainly a place that none of us expected to be even just 8 weeks ago.
This was not the season has not been a bullet train or like even like a slow moving freight train where you think like, oh, eventually this probably isn't going to end well. It's like you break your arm and they're like, oh, you're fine, but it's not going to kill you. And then you break your other arm and they're like, yeah, I mean, you do have both arms broken, but it's not like you're going to die. And then you break both legs and they're like, yeah, you can't move your arms, you can't move your legs, but like you can still breathe. You're like totally fine. And then like you break your neck and they're like, yeah, you can't do anything. You can barely like blink your eyes, but at least you're alive. And they throw you off a cliff and like, oh yeah, you were always going to die. There's no way you're going to survive this. It's been like the death by 1,000 cuts is what this season has felt like. And this is probably the least structured episode we've had, at least in a very long time. Like usually we sit here for a good 45 minutes, discuss the structure of the show, how things are going to go, all that kind of stuff. Like the game ended and we're like, okay, we need to get on and talk about this. And we don't know how long this is going to be. This episode might be 25 minutes. It might be 45 minutes. Who really knows? But the Magic, like tonight's game felt like death by 1,000 cuts when you're down by 19 with like 8.5 to go. And then all of a sudden, like the game starts to flip. And then it's like, wait a minute, we're down 7. There's like a minute 40 to go. And then you're down by 4. And then, Paolo gets the offensive rebound, dunks the ball home. You're down 2 with like 5 seconds left, and then they inbound, and Franz hits it, and it goes off of Emmanuel quickly, and you're like, wait a minute, we have the ball down 2 with 4.7 seconds left, and then Franz has a wide-open layup, and you go, oh my gosh, we're going to overtime, and Franz Wagner misses the shot. Like, I would put my life on the line that Franz was going to make that layup, and he just smokes it.
Yeah.
Off the backboard, comes off too hard, over the front of the rim, and then it's like a jump ball with
Corey Joseph, by the way.
Mogbo and Corey Joseph with 0.9 seconds left, and you're like, yeah, this game is totally over. Like, one of the... Like, no, yes, no losses that I can ever remember, where it was like down 19 with 8.5. I'm like, yeah, this is what this team deserves. And then they're like slowly chipping, and then it's like all at once now, oh my, we actually have a chance to tie this game maybe and go into overtime. And then like the fan in me is like, okay, this would literally be like a miraculous win. It would be really cool. And then Franz and Paolo are making big plays. And then, again, Franz has the opportunity to make the layup. It's just nothing is more representative of how this season has gone than this game in this fourth quarter.
Can I add to that? Not just this game and this fourth quarter, but this entire day.
Yeah.
Because think back to this afternoon.
Yeah.
Our like apparently the heart and soul of the whole freaking team, Jalen Suggs, announced that he's having arthroscopic knee surgery. AKA his season is over, by the way. Let's just be very clear. We're not gonna I know, PR is never gonna jump the gun and say he's out for the season, but we'll say it for them. He's out for the season, right? I'll put it this way. He should not play the rest of the season. If they bring him back the last week of the season, I'm gonna be livid. Okay. He should not play. So yes, Jalen Suggs, season over for him with the knee surgery. And so yeah, that was just, less than 12 hours ago, probably like 8 hours before this game, maybe even less. And you turn around and have this game, and yeah, just the whole day, it's just a perfect encapsulation of this entire season. Just the season from literal hell. It's been awful and not what anyone expected. And I think that just last thing I'll say, sorry. I think if this was 3 seasons ago, where we came into the season knowing it's a rebuilding year, knowing whatever, and then all these things happen to us, it wouldn't feel as painful, I don't think, right? But I think when you win 47 games last year, you're expecting to take another leap, and then just one thing after another, it's just added up, and it's reached a boiling point. And now, yeah, I think most Magic fans are done with the season and ready for the offseason and beyond.
Yeah, a couple things to talk about really quickly. This Saturday, the 8th, when the Magic take on the Milwaukee Bucks, there's going to be a watch party down at Rivals on Wall Street. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock, so that watch party will tip off at 7:30. And then the following Friday, March 14th, will be at Stadium Club at Caribe Royale, 8101 World Center Drive, I believe is Caribe Royale, Orlando. 8101 World Center Drive in Orlando at Stadium Club. Awesome venue. Really excited for both of those watch parties. Yeah, Saturday, Magic versus the Bucks, or at the Bucks rather, at Rivals on Wall Street, and then Friday, March 14th, Magic at Minnesota will be at Stadium Club, located at Caribe Royale, Orlando. Kev, I think that's where a lot of Magic fans, and that's where I am at officially, and we'll rewind just a little bit to Friday about like the Jalen news that came out, which was not good news. And then obviously worse news on Sunday. But like, I am at the point where I am just sort of looking forward to the season being over, not because I don't want to watch Magic basketball. I don't want to watch this version of Magic basketball for sure.
Yeah.
But this season ending will give us hope and something to look forward to in terms of the offseason, in terms of next season. Where right now, and for the next 6, probably 7 weeks when you count the play-in and all that kind of stuff, I don't really feel like there's legitimate hope, and there aren't really many things I feel to look forward to. Like, people are tossing around like, oh, well, we can play more AB and Tristan and Jet Howard, which like tonight might have been like indicative of that a little bit. Like, we're seeing more Jet the last couple of games, but I'm not really excited to see that. I didn't come into this season wanting to see a ton of AB and Jet and Tristan da Silva. I wanted to see a ton of Franz, Wagner, Paolo, Banchero, and Jalen Suggs playing together. And the fact that we got 6 freaking games of that this season is legitimately unbelievable. Yeah. And I feel like we have this conversation every couple of weeks. I can't believe X is happening. I can't believe Y and Z are happening. And it's just, you said it, like, this is just the season from hell, man.
Yeah. Just looking at the standings now, trying to like make sense of this and make sense of what these last few weeks will be like and what that play-in week will be like. I'm looking at, the Magic now are just about as far away from the 6th seed as they are from the 11th seed, like missing the playoffs altogether, right? Like the Magic they're about to be 6 games behind the 6th seed and they're 6.5 games ahead of the 11th seed, right? So like, that's great. Like, think about where this team was in, early December. Like, think about even just from a record standpoint, like the fall has just been catastrophic. It has been really, really bad. And it just leaves so many question marks in my mind. This whole thing is just, it's hurting my brain. I can't really understand it. But yeah, that's where we are.
Let's rewind to Friday really quickly. So Friday, it was announced by the team that after undergoing further evaluation, including an MRI, Magic guard Jalen Suggs had been diagnosed with a trochlea injury in his left knee, and he will be out indefinitely. The trochlea is the end of your femur bone that goes behind your kneecap, where like your kneecap slides up and down across your femur, and there's like a lot of cartilage in that area. So Dr. Brian Sutterer, who, if you're not familiar with him, he's awesome. Anytime there's a pretty significant injury across sports, whether it be the NFL, NHL, NBA, UFC, whatever, he's like right on the ball, making like pretty detailed breakdowns using like 3D anatomy models and stuff like that. It's really cool stuff. So he made a video after the Magic made this announcement that describing something as a trochlea injury doesn't really make sense because you can't really injure the trochlea. But if there's a issue with cartilage in that area, then that is something that would make more sense. And then Jalen Suggs met with the media on Saturday after the Magic's practice and was asked that whether or not some type of surgery, could be possible. And I believe that he mentioned that's one of the things that they were discussing. And then Sunday, it's announced that Magic guard Jalen Suggs will undergo arthroscopic surgery to remove a cartilage fragment in his left knee and is out indefinitely. So there are, a long list of guys who have had like cartilage issues and cartilage injuries over the years. Hopefully it's a very small tear and something that is very easily cleaned up and it's not going to be an issue and become like a recurring issue. But when you start trimming away cartilage, you only have so much cartilage in a specific joint, especially in the knee. Yeah. And when like the cartilage is gone, like you just end up having a ton of pain and inflammation and like recurring issues.
It's not like it regrows. It's gone.
Right. It's just gone. To the point where Alonzo Ball had to have a cartilage transplant, which is like a very new procedure and kind of unheard of in the NBA and professional sports for a guy to have that and be able to come back from that. Lonzo Ball was just out like multiple years due to cartilage issues. So we're hoping that is not the case with Jalen Suggs. But man, just how many things have gone wrong this year. Like, please forgive me if I'm just a little bit paranoid and just like hoping that this does not become a long-term issue with Jalen. Now, I think it was Friday night that Jalen posted a photo to his Instagram and said, BRB, I promise, like he'll be right back. Jalen, we love you, man. You're the heart and soul of this team. We love everything that you've done for this franchise to this point. Just get ready for next year, man. Like I think that's where I'm at. I think that's where Kevin's at. A lot of Magic fans are at. Like, as awesome as it would be for you to come back and inject like a ton of energy and life back into this team and then go on some crazy playoff run, you risking any type of your future if you're not 100% ready to come back and 100% recovered is so not worth it. But Kevin, like, oblique injuries and a trochlea injury derailed the Magic season. Two injuries that, like, to this year are mostly unheard of in the NBA, and they both happened in the Magic this year and ruin our season.
Yes. That's part of the story, but like, what I'm about to say, Jonathan's about to go down like a whole rabbit trail. So I've just asked for your forgiveness. What I'm like ultimately struggling with the most, and I've been struggling for a while, but like tonight, I'm baffled. Is this team just so incapable of winning without Jalen? Like I believed in the rest of this roster enough to at least be serviceable without him. Like even without Mo and Jalen, like you should be beating Toronto. You know, like I that's the part that I'm just so I'm shook. I'm shook because like not just beating Toronto, but like this team trailed by 19 points in the fourth quarter, right? Like that should not, under any circumstance, should not happen. And so is this team just not, we know there are issues on this team, but this team just overall might just not be good. Like it's just not a good team. I said this team overachieved last year. I predicted them to do the same as this year, or same this year as last year. And they've even underwhelmed my underwhelming prediction. Like it's just not a good basketball team. And it makes you wonder, like this offseason, what's going to happen? Like is the front office going to look at it and say, well, it's all injuries, let's run it back? Or are they going to say, holy crap, like there's some issues here. We gotta potentially like wipe the slate clean in some ways. I don't know, man. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm really beside myself at this point.
No, I think I'm right there with you. And I don't know, man. The last 24, 48 hours ish and this game and the way that this team just struggles to come out after weeks and weeks of bad basketball and frustration and underwhelming performances. The fact that like both of some of your more recent wins, like against Charlotte, before the break and against Washington, like both of those games, you kind of took the first half off and then realized that like, hey, like if we have 10 minutes of good basketball in this game, we're going to win going away. I'm kind of okay with that if you're like the 4 seed or the 5 seed. When you've been playing bad basketball for going on 2 months now, the Magic have not had a win since I don't know, like the start of the new, like outside of the Jalen game when he came back and we had the win over Detroit. I don't know that we've just come out, and Sacramento was a little bit different because the way that you shot the basketball on that one. So we won't really talk about that, but like just come out and put a beat down and had like a super convincing, like wire to wire win. Yep. And when you have games like Charlotte and like Washington and yeah, like you end up beating Charlotte by 16, you end up beating Washington by 20. Those were like second half things, right? Like
the last time this happened, sorry, the last time this happened, Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving, the last time you had a convincing, they won by 23 at Brooklyn. That's the last time.
I think we could be entering the realm where like change is necessary just for the sake of change.
Yeah.
And when that is the case, coaches get fired. I don't think that is the right move. If it was me, that's not the decision that I would make. But man, like there's 20 games left of this. Like I just don't. I don't even want to say this. Like I don't understand how, if this continues for another 20 games, how Jamal Mosley doesn't lose the locker room.
Or hasn't already.
Yeah, like like Jamal Mosley was just on the pod. I feel like he is a heck of a dude. I feel like he is a heck of a coach. But yeah, I do think it's fair to ask, not maybe not even talk about like, should he be here? Should he be gone? Like I that's not our decision. I don't think that's the right move, but I do think it's fair to ask at this point, like, what message is not getting across from these guys? Is it just that this team is so emotionally like beat down because of this season?
Yeah.
That they don't have it in them to continue to fight anymore. Are they to the level that we're at now? For us, it's a little bit different because there's literally nothing that we can do. We can just sit here and scream into these mics and hope that it gets better. But at what point are they just like, man, like we've kind of taken all that we can take this season in terms of the injuries and the bad breaks?
Yeah.
Which would be another big problem in and of itself because, like it's not impossible. Well, now it's kind of mathematically very unlikely that you're going to be able to get back up into the 6th seed. But like a month ago, even though all this crap had happened, you're still in very much control of your own destiny. And the stretch that they had to really take advantage of, they've kind of squandered.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at more numbers. Like think back to December 8th. Okay, December 8th. That's, I guess we are coming up on 3 months ago. But December 8th is when the team was 17-9 and 10-0 at home. 17-9 overall, 10-0 at home. So since then, the Magic have gone 8-14 at home because their home record's 18-14. And since then, they've gone 12-24 overall. So that's not good. Going 12-24 since December 8th. Just an absolute free fall. And again, obviously part of that is the lack of certain guys, guys being out and all that stuff. But yeah, it's really hard to believe. When it comes to some of the stuff you talked about with the locker room and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. Like I really, really don't know. Like the hard part for me is going back again to December. Everybody around the Magic, around the NBA was saying Jamal Mosley Coach of the Year, or at least candidate, right? So for that to happen so quickly, is that justifiable, right? Like I find that hard to believe. Are there flaws in the way that this team is coached? Yes. Do I think that warrants him not being the head coach anymore? I don't. But you're right. I mean, in this sport, in professional sports, like they are the first to be blamed and the first to be scapegoated. So I hope it doesn't happen. Yeah, we'll see. Again, more than anything, Jonathan, I'm just I'm shocked. I know it's weird because we've been in this free fall for 2 months, but I'm still just tonight's the new low for me. Like today is just a low, just overall, just low, and it's just hard for me to wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, and again, to go back, like not saying that the play is Mosley's fault or like even deserves to be fired, but just like in my experience in watching sports,
yeah,
when stuff like this happens and the team just becomes so fragmented, somebody ends up getting blamed. Usually it's the head coach.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you get to this point, it's like you just need a fresh voice in the building. Like if guys are no longer buying in to what, and I don't know that that's the case, but we're just what we just watched and what we have been watching for weeks, trying to find an explanation for what is going on, and you see him talking to Paolo Banchero on the bench tonight. And I wouldn't say that Paolo was necessarily like dismissive of anything that Jamal was saying, like after he comes off the floor in the first quarter, in which like in his first run, I think he played almost the entire first quarter, only had 2 attempts in those minutes, and didn't seem super engaged with what Jamal Mosley was saying. Yeah, this to me, this is the low point of the season. You didn't deserve to win this game. Like this would have been the epitome of stealing one. But like we said, you have to win these Toronto games and the Chicago game to have a chance at the playoffs, and now it's the play-in. And can this team? I mean, there's almost a quarter of the season left, so can things change over the course of 20 games? Sure, but you're telling me that you're getting Jalen Suggs like fresh off of a arthroscopic knee surgery, and the way that this team has shot the ball this year, I don't have any confidence that they're going to be able to bounce back from that over the last 20 games here. So you're telling me that you win a play-in game or you win a couple play-in games and your reward is losing in 4 or 5 games to Cleveland or Boston? I'm not super fired up about that. I would almost rather not make the playoffs at all than have to watch another 4 games of what we're seeing here and 4 games of, the team that just beat you by 40 potentially.
Yeah. Not just another 4 games, but another 4 games on a national scale, right? Like
hopefully that they just give us NBA TV.
Yeah. If it's
or
Cleveland,
give me true TV even. I would prefer that.
If we're the 7th seed against Boston, I mean, that's going to be on TV. But yeah, it's hard because we were texting about this earlier today. Like, part of the aura of sports, at least to me, is like, number one, it's the best entertainment, the best drama because it's unscripted. At least we think it is, unscripted.
You know what? After this, I hope it is.
I know.
Because this is all purely coincidence. That's pretty crappy.
Yeah. So I love the fact that nobody on planet Earth knows what's going to happen. That's why I love sports. With that being said, like, that's also why the idea of a David versus Goliath, a 7 or 8 seed Orlando Magic against a 1 or 2 seed Cleveland or Boston, like, yeah, it's daunting. Yeah, we're probably gonna be swept, but that 0.0000001% chance that we do win,
add a few more tens of zeros to
0.00000. That's hard for me to just totally flat out just ignore. Like I can never sit here and say I'm rooting for this team to lose. I can't do it. Like, I just don't have that in me, but I also absolutely understand it at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And we were like, hey, should we run Tankathon on the pod tonight? We can't even do that.
Nope. We're not that low yet. We're still the 8 seed. So I think we're a game up on Tankathon. Let's see. Yeah, we're a game ahead of the 9 seed Atlanta Hawks. So, and I think Atlanta plays Washington tomorrow. So that could improve our chances by next episode. Let me see if I'm correct. No, excuse me. That's not true at all. I don't know why I thought that. They play Memphis. It's Miami, I think, that plays Washington. That's what I'm thinking of. They play Memphis Monday, so they'll probably lose. Who knows?
22 games back of Cleveland, 14.5 of Boston, 12 of New York, 6.5 of Milwaukee and Indiana, 5.5 back of Detroit, half game behind Miami, 1 game up on Atlanta, 4.5 games up on Chicago.
Dude,
like just, and Joel Embiid's out for the year for Philly, right. So it's like, it's mathematically impossible. Like, the Magic are going to play in the play-in at this point. Just locking in, whether it be the 7, 8, or 9 and 10 game.
Right. Dude, a 9-10 game would be kind of fun. Yeah, just a one game. Look, you win it, it's fun, especially if you're at home, which it looks like the Magic probably would be. You win it, whatever. You lose it, it's also a little bit of whatever, I mean, I don't know. The 9-10 game would be interesting, but not a great place to be. And again, here's the hard part. If this season was reversed, let's say the Magic got off to a horrible start, terrible start to the season, and then what happened in November and December started happening now, the vibes are totally different, right? You're like, okay, let's get to the play and let's make some noise, right? But because of the trajectory, that it's not fun.
I could buy into that if it wasn't for the injuries. Like,
right.
if everybody was healthy and that happened, like, sure, oh, look, we're figuring things out.
Right.
But because of the way that the injuries have happened and now this latest thing with Jalen, like, it's just so unfortunate, man. Which by the reports that we're getting, it seemed like he was pretty close to coming back and then started to have discomfort in the knee.
Right.
So, which is just... man. Everybody just take a deep breath. Ready? In through the nose, out through the mouth.
One more time.
One more time. I still feel like garbage.
Yeah, it didn't help
I'm
at all.
still so mad. That didn't help at all.
Nope.
Man. Kev, we've been, I don't know, talking for 28, 29 minutes here. I don't really have anything else. Do you? I mean, the week ahead. The jam of the week was that really awesome dunk that Paolo had a couple of days ago. Was that against Golden State?
Yeah, it was against Golden State in the first
That's
quarter.
your jam of the week, guys.
Yep. Shout out to Jam Hot Chicken.
Shout out to Jam Hot Chicken.
I kind of... Before we go, this might be a little early to do this. Like, this is something we can do a little more extensively once the season is actually over, even though right now it's emotionally over, but not statistically over. But like, can we just go really quickly, just memorialize this season, just to help? I think it'll help, at least me, my emotional state, understanding why I feel this way. If we just step by step, really quickly, go through why we're here. Okay, how did we get here? Number one, we had a great season last season. Built up our expectations, our emotions towards this season. Thought we could do the same or better. All right, so that's part of the problem. Our emotions were way up here. Our expectations. 6 games in, Paolo goes down, or 5 games, whatever it was. Five games in, Paolo tears his oblique and is out for a long time, like 30 games, whatever it is. Terrible. That should have been the end of the season right there. You remember our emotions that day, Jonathan? Do you remember that? We thought the season was cooked.
Done. It was. We just didn't know it yet.
That's true.
Never wrong, just early.
Here's what I'm saying, though. That's part of the problem. Because we got baited in by this magical run led by Franz Wagner to where this team goes on an amazing run without Paolo. And so here we are in December. Wow, we've survived without Paolo. He's going to come back soon, and then everything's going to be great. Then Franz goes down. Also with a torn oblique. Let's just let that sink in. Then we're without both guys. It's a disaster, as expected. Paolo comes back. Things really don't get better. Then eventually we lose Jalen. Jalen comes back. We win a game with Jalen. We're like, you know what? We're back. But it's only one game because he got hurt that night, and we haven't seen him since. And ever since then, this team has just been a shell. Oh, I haven't even mentioned Mo Wagner. Mo Wagner tears his ACL in December as well. And then we're here. We're here now where the season's over, and I just feel like I'm battered and bruised, and it's okay to not be okay. One of those things. That's how we've made it to this point, and it's whatever. Okay, that's all.
That doesn't make me feel any better. I mean, everything you said is true, but it doesn't. Yeah. It just reminds me of all the crappy things that have happened so far to start the year.
For me, I mean,
not even to start. Just that's been the year.
More than anything, it just justifies my feelings right now.
Oh
like,
yeah, we're 100% within our rights to feel the way that we feel about this season. Like, we're not anybody saying that, oh, you guys are stupid for being upset about this. Like, hey, have you started Severed, by the way?
Severance, you mean? And yes.
Yeah. I would sever my personal life from my sports life right now.
Yeah.
If that was a real thing, I'd be first in line.
Yeah.
Yeah, Severance. Yeah. So you have started Severance.
I have, yeah. I'm 7 episodes
How far are you in?
7 episodes in this first season, yeah.
So you watched the 7th episode and you didn't finish the first season?
Correct.
Carmen and I watched
Careful. Careful.
No, we finished the 7th episode last night. And we're like, oh, well, now we have to watch the 8th. And then it was, oh, well, now we have to watch the season finale. And then it was like, oh, well, we watched 4 or 5 episodes of Severance last night.
Love that.
And we turned the first one on at 9:30.
That's
so
amazing.
It was, yeah.
I cannot wait to watch it tonight to try and distract me from sports.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. So,
I would absolutely get the severance procedure right now, separate my sports life from my personal life.
Love that. Sign me
because
up.
it just, it just like literally drags through every day. Like yesterday, I was at a birthday party for one of my buddies, his son, and like all of our kids are playing together in the bounce house. We're all just sitting in the living room, and somebody brings up the Magic. I'm like, dude, I like actually don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
Like respectfully, it has been that bad that I genuinely don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
I do it here because like it's just the thing that we've done for 500 episodes, and like it's always easier when you're talking to somebody who really knows exactly what's going on, and you don't have to like explain certain things. You can kind of just express how you feel about it. So yeah, let's take a quick look at the week ahead. So we play Toronto again on Tuesday. Yeah. Then we play Chicago on Thursday. And then we play Milwaukee on Saturday. That's this week.
Yeah, here's the problem. I don't... This is bad because like this sucks. Like it's a very bad spot. But after the Chicago game is one of the hardest road trips of the season. It's so tough.
It might be the hardest.
At Milwaukee, at Houston, at New Orleans, at Minnesota, at Cleveland.
You'll be fortunate to go 4-1. Or I'm sorry, 1-4.
I was about to say, you'll be fortunate to win a game on that trip with how this team is playing.
Especially with New Orleans, Minnesota being back-to-back.
Yeah, fortunate to win a game.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to ask me right now, I would pick the Magic to not win a game in that trip. And by then, I mean, that's, whatever.
If it was like, if you're giving me even odds, like if it was like, plus 150, I would be like, I would bet the Magic win a game just because like, dude, it's 1-5. You have to win.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad or like, oh, you're silly to think that the Magic won't win one of those games.
Yeah. As for this week ahead, I'm going to say 1-2. I think
you have to beat Toronto on Tuesday. Like this is one of the things though. You and I have gotten on here how many times this season and said, "Oh, you have to do this," and they don't.
Right.
I think you beat Chicago, and that's it. I think you actually lose Tuesday versus Toronto.
Mm. Yeah.
They haven't given us a reason to believe otherwise.
Yeah. I agree.
We keep saying like, as recent as a month ago, we would say, oh, a Jamal Mosley team isn't going to lose 4 in a row. Like it's a Jamal Mosley coach team.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means right now.
Yeah.
I do think there's a possibility where like, and I would probably say it's likely that Jamal Mosley makes it through, I don't know, 20 games. There's a lot of things that can happen. But I would bet that Jamal Mosley makes it through the offseason, and then with some roster changes and like a refreshed level of buy-in, things can be awesome again. But things also can continue to go really badly for the last 20 games, and Jamal Mosley is not the head coach of the Magic next year.
Oh, man. I'm just not there yet.
I'm not saying that's likely, but to me, that is way more of a possibility right now than it was a week ago.
Yeah. Yep. All right. 1-2. We both say 1-2 this week.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. Do you? I'm at like the point, like, people are like, oh, my social bandwidth is tapped. Like my Magic bandwidth is tapped right now. Like I don't want to continue to talk about this team at this present moment. Do you?
Not really.
I will if you have something else to talk to.
No, the problem is I have so much I could say, but yeah, this probably just needs to be the end of this show, and then we'll have plenty to say.
I would love to hear it. I don't have much to add, but I would love to hear what you have to say.
That's what I'm saying. Like I could go 9 million different directions, and none of them are helpful right now. So let's sleep on it, and we'll talk more Magic basketball some other time.
Again, watch party Saturday, Rivals at Wall Street, or Rivals on Wall Street, rather. Magic play Milwaukee at 8 o'clock. That party will get started around 7:30. And then another watch party, next Friday, March 14th at Stadium Club Caribe Orlando. Looking forward to those. Yeah, guys, it's a tough season. A lot of people are sharing similar sentiments, and hopefully this pod was helpful. And yeah, we'll continue to be here because that's what we do, win or lose with this team. That's going to do it for this one. Jonathan Osborne and Kevin Tucker. We will catch you guys next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!